your mind starts to transform, starts to take on the new truth and the new norm. Successful people take accountability of why they're not where they are and what they need to do and actually do to overcome that. Anything you see in your life right now that you feel is not right, it's based on your mindset. Hi Team Wesley Christians, I hope you are doing well. Welcome to day 1 of manifesting your God-given purpose. Put some fire emojis in the comment section if you are here for it. This is the challenge. We are going to be spending the next 5 days diving deep, changing and truly transforming our lives. Share this with anyone you know who would benefit from this, which I can't imagine who wouldn't. So definitely we are going to look at some amazing nuggets and activities that will help us achieve that. So day 1, it all begins in the mind. In order to fulfill destiny, you have to have the right mindset. In order for you to start walking in your purpose, your mindset has to align with it. I often use this analogy of 2 cars. The car is neutral, and the car represents our physical bodies. The determining factor of that car is the driver. Who is the driver of that car? So one person will have a driver who will drive safely, and the car would get safely to its destination. You can also have another driver who's reckless, and the car will end up in a ditch or in an accident, broken up and spoiled. Now, the car is neutral, but the determining factor is the driver, the mindset of the driver. How does the person view driving? One person clearly views driving quite serious, as I need to get from A to B. I need to be cautious. I need to look at my left and right. I need to adhere to the rules of the road. And one clearly does not, and the consequence is seen by the outcome. And that's how it is in our own lives. Our mindset basically show us the consequences of the outcome. The state of your mind will show forth in your environment. Every result you see in your life right now is based on the mindset that you have. When you see someone with a cut body, looking very good, very fit, excellent fitness and body, that person possesses a mindset of treating their body well. They possess a mindset of discipline, of delayed gratification. Versus if you see someone who maybe has let themselves go, that also shows you the mindset that they have, that perhaps maybe they lack discipline. For instance, they may not see food as a source of nutrition, but food as a source of pleasure. Sometimes I hear that saying that I wish I had that body. Like if I had that body, I would just, maintain it. If I had a fit body, I would just maintain it. But the truth is, if you have the mindset of letting yourself go and you blinked your eyes and you had surgery and you looked fabulous and you had that same mindset, you would literally go back to your old state because your mind had not changed with how your body has changed. The mindset of discipline itself has not sunk in yet. And so literally your mindset reveals your environment. Anything you see in your life right now that you feel is not right, it's based on your mindset. It goes across every single spectrum in life. If you're not having friends, if you're not having friends, if you're not able to maintain relationships, it is due to your mindset. If you're not progressing in your career, it's due to your mindset. If you are physically not where you're at, it's all due to your mindset. And the mindset of the successful is to not make excuses. We can often come up with excuses to try and explain why you're not where you want to be, but that is a trait of someone who is not successful, making excuses. Where successful people take accountability of why they're not where they are and what they need to do and actually do to overcome that. And so as we're looking at this week of manifesting our God-given purpose, number 1, we need to work on our mindsets. Take away mindsets that do not serve us any longer. Look into your life, take a pen and paper and write down this and this and this is not what is in line with God's will for my life, where I see myself at, and identify the mindsets that come with it. So for instance, if you're overweight and this is what something you want to change, what is the mindset that brought you there? Is it that I'm not going to go and run today because it's raining or it's cold outside? I don't want to eat. I'll put off eating the fruits and vegetables and just go for chocolate because it feels good. I'll start again on Monday because, we've already gone into the week. These are mindsets that you need to debunk and tell yourself, no, that is no longer going to cut it. Replace them. And then when you identify them, you need to replace them with a new ideology. So I want you to take a pen and paper. And so for instance, this example on weight, you would write, I no longer eat food for pleasure. I eat food to nourish my body. Or I no longer lie to escape, but I tell the truth to confront my fears. And you say that in the I am stance, that you're already doing it. And as you're already doing it, your mind starts to transform. It starts to take on the new truth and the new norm. And you have to do this consciously every single day until it sinks in. So what I personally do is I create a list of all the affirmations of the things that I know God has said concerning my life, the things that I see myself improving in, and I start actively telling myself, this is what I am doing. I am earning billions of pounds. I am influential. I am bringing change, positive change. I am sought after. I am. So that is extremely powerful. You will start becoming that which you confess, and not only you will start becoming, but also everyone around you will start seeing a difference in you. It will impact the people around you too, or the way and manner that people perceive you. Have you ever seen a drug addict with who's semi-homeless, who's really not controlling the addiction? Okay, they're fully in the addiction. Have you ever seen such a person with perfectly clean clothing? No, that's because their mindset does not allow them to value their appearance, the mindset that they have turned into. So if you were to even give them a brand new fresh set of clothing, okay, and you said, this is a fresh set of clothing, put this on, their mindset will allow them to put themselves back to an environment where those same clothing that you gave become torn, dirt, and messed up based on the mindset. And also, have you seen a person who appears to be having multiple suits because they're always wearing the same suit, but that suit is always looking on point? That again also shows you that mindset of taking care of the things they value and the value in preserving important things. So for instance, my mentor Gordon Marin, he used to wear the same suit every day. He I think he only had 2 suits, and he would wear them, alternating them for years. And people used to think, he must just have lots and lots of the same one, but no, he just took care of that one very well. And these are perhaps maybe 2 similar situations. They have very scarcity of clothes, maybe just 1 or 2, but the outcome of each is different, and it's all based on the mindset. And so as we bring today's session to a close, I want you to take this away and start writing out the mindset that you feel is holding you back from achieving what you are or ought to achieve, and change those ideologies with the new ideologies you need to receive. You need to let sink in and affirm them to you every single day. And so tomorrow we're going to look at the principle of what and not how. What does that mean? I will be making tools all around the world, coaching and mentoring young women and men on achieving their God-called purpose. That is my what, and it will happen. I will be traveling the world. I will be sought after to come and tour and mentor and bring influence and change and improve people's lives. Now that is my what, but I'm not going to look at the how. I may not know exactly how that's going to happen, but I'm going to manifest what will happen. And we're going to look deeper into the truths and the myths behind that, and how you can make your what a reality too, without letting the how become that stumbling block. And that's where many people stop at. They look at the how and they give up. And so we're going to dive into that tomorrow. So hold steadfast to your feet. Again, share with anyone you know who will benefit from this, especially in times like this. If you need to rewatch this video, rewatch it and let it sink in and do the activities. And I promise you, your life will never remain. God shows you the what. He doesn't necessarily show you the steps of the how it would happen. Hi, Team Resolute Christians. It is that time. It is that time. Glory be to God. It's day 2 of Achieving Your God-Called Purpose Challenge. It is day 2. What a wonderful start day 1 was. I was already seeing the testimonies coming in. And again, if you are tuning into day 2, do drop the fire emojis. And let's get into day 2. And again, if you haven't seen day 1 yet, I do strongly advise that you go and have a look at day 1, where we looked at resetting your mind. It all begins in your mind. You have to reset your mind, change ideologies that no longer serve you, ideologies that can't take you from where you are now to where God has called you to be. And so today we're going to look at focusing on the what and not necessarily the how. Now, what does that mean about focusing on the what and not the how? Because that makes no sense to some, right? Some would say, well, that's wishful thinking. And I completely understand why you would think that and why you may feel like that, because I too am a very analytical person. Some of you know that I operated in the legal field and I work in organizational development. So I'm very analytical, very practical. I like doing things in a methodical way. I like to plan, strategize, the good stuff. So for me to say focusing on the what and not the how, you may feel like it doesn't make any sense. But focusing on the how, more so on the what, is what keeps certain people in a specific realm and stops them from moving to the next realm. And I'll speak a bit more closer on what I mean by that. Focusing on the what and not the how is a principle. And it's a principle that God actually instructs us by, which is very interesting and very difficult for people who were like me in a professional sense, who perhaps, like to plan out things. Oh, I love a planner. Give me a pen and a paper and I'll write down a strategy for you right now. I will plan out exactly what steps needed to do to achieve this. I love a good plan. But when you walk with God and you walk in your God-given purpose, God wants you to focus on the what and not necessarily the how. When God spoke to Abraham, he said, look, as far as you can see, this is the amount of descendants that you will have. Now, Abraham looked at himself and said, well, how is that possible? The how. He's looking at the how. How is this possible? I am this old. My wife is this old. That's not possible, is it? But God said, focus on the what. See the what and believe me. Believe me. Similar, another one, Moses. Moses saw, Moses looked at himself like a murderer because he had killed someone. He ran away. He's finding out that he's not from the family that he thought he was off from. And he ran away to a different life and a different reality. And so God comes to him and tells him, go and let my people go. Go and take my people out of captivity into the promised land that I have sent them. And Moses is thinking, well, how? He started making excuses. He said, I'm a stammerer. I don't speak well. You asking me to go back to the land that I just ran away from because I just killed someone? I can never go there again. But God said, no, this is what. And Moses ought to not fully focus on the how, but on the what. This is what God has called me to do. The what. And when God shows you the what, he doesn't necessarily show you the steps of the how it would happen. He gives you the end picture, and how it will happen is in his hands. What matters is that you walk according to his will and trust him that the what will be established. Another one, Mary, an angel came saying to her, you will carry the Son of God. And imagine Mary is a virgin. What's amazing about God is that when he shows you the picture that he has for you, and one way that you definitely know that it is God, it seems so big. God's will for your life is massive. It seems so big. It seems so far out of reach. And if you were able to calculate the how for yourself, if you can do that for yourself, that means it may not be from God, because the what God calls us to often appears to be like a mountain that's unachievable. And that's how he shows himself as God in your life, that when it comes and becomes established, you will not be able to deny but say, this was only done but through God. It was only done through God. Okay. And so I want you to start focusing on the what. What has God called you to do? And if you don't know the answer yet, I want you to take some time in meditation, reflecting, and prayer, asking God sincerely. And God has different ways of speaking to us. Some he speaks through dreams, some receive visions, some have a perceiving in the spirit that this is what God has called me to do. This is what he wants me to do. And so once you have that, you should focus on the what and start walking in it. Start walking in it. Start positioning yourself. And that is something we will look at tomorrow, positioning yourself. But at this point, we're looking at the what. You have, through our episode of yesterday, day 1, you have reset your mindset to understand that the impossible can be possible, that the limitations that we place on ourselves, we cannot place that limitation on God. Just because we think it's impossible doesn't mean it is impossible for God. For the Bible actually says nothing is impossible for God. And especially if it is his will, he has made every provision for it to be established. So once you have established your calling, start visualizing yourself as that. You cannot become what you do not see. The creation power. The creation power. See yourself in that position. If it is you seeing yourself traveling the world to make impact, see yourself in that plane. And not just say it, but how does that plane feel like? How does the plane sound like? What is the feeling that I'm feeling? You are utilizing the creation power through your imagination, and you are manifesting that which God has called you to do. And I know sometimes people see this as I think I saw a comment yesterday about a new age. A lot of the spiritual truths that are in the word are stolen from us. And so meditation and manifesting the creation power that God has rightfully given us in his authority, New Ageism has taken that through different spirits, and those different spirits are not godly spirits, but it is an inheritance that we have as the children of God also. And so when I say manifest, and when I say envision, when I say meditate, this is all under the guidance of the Spirit of God and not any other spirit. This is a right that we have. This is an attribute that we have. And unfortunately, the enemy likes to steal and to corrupt and duplicate. That's just what he does. He duplicates everything that God has provisioned us. He duplicates and he corrupts. And so again, I will leave you with a challenge. I will leave you with a task. Number 1, write down what God has called you to do. And number 2, manifest it. How does it feel like? How does it smell like? How does it taste like? What is it like? And what does that version of you do? That version of you, what kind of friends does that version of you have? At what time does that version of you wake up? What kind of foods does that version of you eat? What kind of habits does that version of you have? Start visualizing it, and then you will start walking in it. And so as I leave these nuggets with you, we are going to look at positioning yourself to achieving your God-given purpose. And so if you haven't seen day 1 yet, you have to start off with day 1. And as you've now finished day 2, day 3 is coming, or may already be up. If it is, do have a look here. And I want to hear your testimonies in the comment section. Hi, Team Wesley Christians. Welcome to day 3 of achieving your God-called purpose. I hope you have checked out day 1, resetting your mindset. Day 2, on focusing on the what and not the how. And today we are looking at setting yourself up to win, positioning yourself to win. Once again, this challenge is proactive. So do you have your note, pen and paper ready as we dive into it? A wise man once said success is opportunity meeting preparation, meaning you are prepared before the opportunity even comes. And that again is a principle of time. Every time in every season we are given a certain opportunity, but whether we leverage on that opportunity depends on whether we are ready to position ourselves in a way that when that opportunity comes, we are able to grab it. Today we are looking at the life of Joseph a bit closer as a case study for that. So Joseph had a gift. You have a gift. We all have a gift that we receive from birth. We all have a gift that we were born with. And that gift, God places it within you, and he expects you to discover that gift and multiply the gift. And we see the parable of the talent. The ones who were given 2 or 3 or more talents, they took them and they brought back an investment back for the master. But the one who was given 1 talent and hid it, he was punished. God frowns on not receiving a return on his investment, just as any human will be. When we invest in something, we expect a return. We expect that the investment we put into will bring us some benefit or will bring some glory. And so God has placed gifts in each and every one of us, and it is for us to discover it. And once you have discovered it, it is for you to nurture it. It is for you to polish it. You know, they say hard work surpasses talent. Someone can have a talent, be really great at running, and because of their natural talent, they become very relaxed. And so they maybe are naturally good because that's the gift, but they could be better. And someone can be working really hard, practicing day and night, and not have that natural talent, but surpass the person with the natural talent based on the drive that they have. Now, what am I trying to say? Joseph had the gift of interpreting dreams, and he had the spirit of wisdom. He was not just able to interpret dreams, but he was able to give you counsel on what to do based on the dreams. And so Joseph practiced this gift. He would first practice at home. He started telling his parents about his dreams, started telling his brothers about his dreams from what we are told in the Bible, but he may have even told others. He may have interpreted some dreams here and there. Next thing we see that he's thrown into the prison. But even there, he still practices his gift. He interprets the dream of the baker, the dream of the wine cellar. And so he's nurturing and practicing his gift. Now, every time he gave an interpretation, it was correct. But perhaps there was a time when that interpretation was wrong. And so maybe he had to look at how he maybe interpreted certain symbolism and how he had to change it to perfect it. Now, here's when the time and the season of opportunity came. Well, because he nurtured his gift and perfected it, the day that he met Pharaoh, he was able to give accurate counsel, and Pharaoh promoted him as prime minister. So this is an example of how we ought to nurture our gifts until the appointed time. But now, throughout the series, we have reset our mindset. We have seen what God has called us to do. And now we are positioning ourselves to be ready for that opportunity. That opportunity will come. God has made provision, but the version that you currently are cannot take you there. The way and manner you are now cannot take you there. Perhaps you are not as diligent just yet. Perhaps you are not as disciplined just yet. Perhaps you have to brush up on your people skills. Perhaps you have to brush up on the way you communicate. You know the areas that you need improvement of. And when you did the exercise of the what, where God has called you to, and you envision yourself as that person, ask yourself, am I a reflection of that person right now? Am I a reflection of that person right now? And if you're honest with yourself, most of the time you would say, no, I'm not yet. Because if you were, you would be there. So this is a reminder for us to keep brushing up on our skills. So as per usual, get your pen and a paper out. Write down what I need to improve on. What gift, number one, do I have? What are my talents? What is my calling? What is my skill? Second of all, how can I brush up on it? What do I need to brush up on it? And start making the plan on the steps you're going to take to implement those into your life. And with that, we bring day 3 to an end, and we will be entering day 4 tomorrow. This challenge has been a blessing to me, myself, and I'm sure to you too. And tomorrow we are looking at your environment. Okay, your environment, how that has a significant impact on fulfilling destiny and purpose. See you then. Bless you. If you look at your phone contact list and you can't even find 3 people that you could comfortably call and say, I'm going to call this person, speak to them about my vision, or ask them to come help pray with me about this situation, and you have none of them around you, trust me, it is time to change your tribe. When you live a purpose-driven life, you value every single second that you spend. Hi team Resolute Christians, there I say it is day 4 of the Manifesting Your God Called Purpose Challenge. Welcome to day 4. I'm mightily excited to be sharing day 4 with you. Oh, what a week it has been once again. So just as a reminder, day 1, if you haven't had a chance to follow all the days yet, day 1 we looked at resetting our mindset. Day 2 we looked at the what and not necessarily the how. A very deep one there. Day 3, we looked at exercising your creation power. And today, we will be looking at the impact of your environment. All the other days, what we've been looking at have been internal. Your mindset, envisioning, creating power. They have been internal. But now we're going to look at the factor that will affect you externally. Now, us beginning with the internal was very important, and it's the first step you need to take, is to have self-awareness and starting with yourself in alignment with the will of God. Now, moving on from there, your environment is significant and important. Your environment has a direct effect on your capability of achieving purpose. Now, with God, all things are possible. And definitely, as the Lord's hand is upon your life, definitely His will be done in your life. However, the Lord has also given us wisdom, and some people's destinies are delayed, are static. And that doesn't mean that God is not powerful, that God is not on their side. Yes, it is, but they have not obtained the wisdom to understand some of these aspects. You know, when I did the video about the mindset, someone said to me, well, it's not about the mindset, it's about God. Yes, it is about God. That's number one. But your mindset is next. And the Bible says, my people perish due to the lack of knowledge. They hyper spiritualize everything and do not understand that you have to actually work on your mindset, work on your environment. And these are some of the truths that I will be sharing with you today. Why is the environment important? It is important because it can literally either propel you to achieving your purpose faster, or it can hinder you or even quench it. Yes, it can quench it. Your environment is extremely important. It's like a fish out of water. A fish out of water can never achieve its maximum potential. That fish will be incapacitated and can even have its life sucked out of it. That's how significant your environment is. If you're in an environment that does not serve the purpose of God in your life, it can have a massive stumbling block in your life. And when I say about environment, I'm not talking about the geographical location that you're in. I'm talking about things that actively speak into you, like your friends. A wise person once said that birds of the same flock fly together. That means they have the same identity, the same way of thinking, the same way of doing things, and they flock together. And if you're someone who is looking to fulfill destiny, looking to change, looking to improve, and if you've been taken through these steps that we've been looking at within this challenge, you are looking of continuous improvement to becoming the person that God has called you to become. And sometimes the friendships around us no longer serve us in the aspect. They are in love with the you that you once were or you currently are. They are in love with the you that maybe, instead of wanting to study the word more in order to grow more in the knowledge of God, they love the you that would rather watch a videotape or rather play a video game. That's the you that they love. And sometimes they like to make you feel bad by saying that, that was the fun you. That's the you that was so great. We don't recognize the you that you're becoming. They're not comfortable with that change. And you go through something a lot of successful go through called the loneliness period. They say the road to success is lonely. You will find that only a few who already are on that wavelength, or even none of them, would stick close to you. They may even, say, well, we're not inviting you to any of these things anymore because you don't come to begin with. And you know why you don't come, because you find no value in it. You start valuing your time much more when you live a purpose-driven life. You value every single second that you spend. Every second that is wasted is appalling to you, and you want to utilize it for something important, something that will push you and drive you towards your purpose. And so if you look at your phone contact list and you can't even find 3 people that you could comfortably call and say, I'm going to call this person, speak to them about my vision, or ask them to come help pray with me about this situation, and you have none of them around you, trust me, it is time to change your tribe. And why is it important that you do that? Number one, when you find a tribe that is on the same wavelength as you will become each other's keepers. They are or they have gone through what you have already gone through, and they're able to motivate you. They challenge you to do better. They have a very strong work ethic that you can aspire to or that you're already on. When you have a time of weakness and you're like, well, this is tough, they will tell you, come on, get up, let's keep going. They will not give you excuses and say, yeah, just take some time off, because you were all on that drive passion. And to be honest with you, this change is not comfortable. This change is not comfortable at all. It can be painful because friendships that you've maybe had for years, the cause of that friendship may have come to an end. You realize some of them have come to an end. Life is, we always say, it's like a train. Some people step on, step off during that time. And that doesn't mean that you're cutting them off completely, but you are moving in different lanes. You're moving into different directions. It takes a lot of self-discipline. It takes a lot of self-love. It takes a lot of talking to yourself, encouraging yourself until you find that tribe, because it does take time to find that tribe. And so you might say, well, Ruth, you speak in truths. Okay, this is it. So how do I find my tribe? I'm glad you asked me that question, because I had to go through that same process. And what you basically need to do, especially in a day like this, when you were a child, you have so many friends, right? My daughter, she literally, anytime we go out, we go to town, she said, hi, that's my friend. So many, right? I'm like, how do you have so many friends? That's because when you were young, you placed into situations where you make friends. You go to your school and you make your schoolmates your friends. You go to church and make your schoolmates, your churchmates your friends. And so you are placed and you make friends. But when you become an adult and you work, and you soon realize that your work colleagues are not your friends, your work colleagues are your work colleagues, and oftentimes stay there at the workplace. And so people go through a stage of loneliness in their adulthood. And so how you put yourself out there and identifying your tribe, and this is some of the tips that I will give you exclusively here. Number one, you have to put yourself out there, okay? Actively attend events, seminars, memberships, professional bodies. If you're a professional person, a lot of the professional bodies have memberships where they have networks where they come together in person or virtually, and you can connect there with like-minded people. Again, events. If you simply go on Eventbrite, look for events that stimulate your interest and find like-minded people. With this day and age, you have to proactively put yourself out there. Just the virtual communication is not going to cut it. It's not going to grow that deep relationship. Also, just to plug in here, if you're interested, I have a network, an exclusive network group that's a really tight-knit, exclusive group of women, like-minded women of substance network, women who are ambitious, driven, who are career-minded, who are for the kingdom, where we share ideas, where we share useful links, career opportunities, women with the same drive but have the same challenges. So most of them are mothers, most of them are wives. So in that community, still being driven and achieving purpose. So these are purpose-driven women, and it's a very exclusive network that I'm very protective over, because we want the right people to be in that network. So if that is something you are interested in, you can let me know by sending me an email at ruthamankwamati@gmail.com, and we'll see if that's a good fit for you and for us too. So there's a lot of networks out there that may appeal to you and that would suit your requirements. And again, if you are obtaining value in this, please to hit the like button and need the engagements to go up. Share with someone that you know will benefit from this, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, because we are the Resolute Christians, all about the kingdom business. All right, so as we bring today's to a close, again, a takeaway action. Does your current environment serve you? Write down your current environment. What attributes serve you? What attributes don't serve you? What actions are you going to take going forward from today to improve your environment to enable and facilitate you achieving your goal called purpose? All right, guys, I can't believe this challenge is coming to an end. Okay, so tomorrow we are going into day 5. God bless you so much. I know your lives are being transformed, and I'm honored to be a servant to the Lord to communicate these to you. I keep you in my prayers every day, and I believe that the will of God will be done in your life. Can we get a round of applause for day 5? Day 5 of the challenge. Kudos to you if you have been taking this challenge every single day. I trust me, your efforts will not be left unnoticed. So apart from you completing this, I've also been covering you in prayer. That I said, Lord, that anyone who takes on this challenge and trusts you and takes through the steps, that Father, show yourself faithful in their lives. And I know your life will never remain the same. So the challenge may be coming to an end, but the journey continues. So let's just have a review of the things that we have discussed over the past 4 days. So day 1, we looked at your mindset, resetting your mindset. We looked at that it all begins in the mind, that your mind reflects your environment, the outcomes that you've seen in your life outside of the spiritual aspects are all based from your mindset. Okay, day 2, we looked at the what and not necessarily the how. God has given you a word upon your life. You know where you are needing to be in life, what you want to achieve next, your next step, your next season. Visualizing the what and believing God that the what will happen. Day 3, we looked at positioning yourself to win. Now, how will you put yourself? We looked at that opportunity and preparation when they meet make success. Okay, so you preparing yourself for that day. You know what God has called you to do. What steps are you taking on putting yourself in position for that? Lastly, on day 4, we looked at your environment. Okay, we looked at how the external factors can have an impact on you achieving purpose. So as I round up this challenge, once again, I want you to remember that these things are based on your identity in Christ. And all your foundation is Christ, and all you need to remember that when we speak about manifesting and achieving, it is not by our own might, it's not by our own strength, it's not by our own power, but it's all based on God, the authority and the dominion that God has given us through the death of Jesus Christ and his resurrection. That everything that we do is based on the leadings of the Spirit. When we looked at the what, I mentioned that it is God who showed Abraham, this is what. It is God that showed Joseph, this is what. It is God that showed Mary, this is what. It is God that will show you that this is what. God will show you in his own way what he has called you to do. And once you have captured that, you now are putting yourself in position to fulfill destiny. Amen. And so this video is a celebration video. I'm celebrating with you. I'm happy, and I know that you are becoming that which God has called you to be. He said to Abraham, I will make you. He is making you. It's a delight to me to make any impact in helping you achieve that, or aiding you, or being a little tool or a little vessel in achieving that. And that is me fulfilling my purpose. God bless you all. Again, this is Team Resolute Christians. If you're new to this channel and you love practical Christian content filled with the Spirit of God and wisdom, do subscribe, share with a friend, and I shall see you in my next one. Bye-bye.